So it's November 13th, Wednesday, about 1:37, 1:38 p.m. I just got my rent-a-car. I was supposed to get it earlier, so I'm hitting the road a little bit late. But I am on the way to FEIC 2019. See you there. Okay, so I just checked into my Airbnb. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of time to hang out, but they were super nice. I gotta head to Embassy Suites to check in for early registration. Let's go. I've arrived at Embassy Suites. I'm headed inside to get registered. Let's see who's here. Let's go. I'm headed to the conference center to get registered. There we go. This place is amazing. This place is way bigger than it looks on camera. I've been told that VIP registration is over this way. This is the VIP mixer. It's about 8:40 p.m. Wednesday night. So far, Mark Sargent's here, Karen B's here, Jaren's here, Bob's here, Dave's here, Noel J. Hadley, Owen Benjamin, the Big Bear's here already. There's a lot of other folks too. Met a lot of awesome people so far. It's going to be a great event. As you can see, I don't have my VIP badge yet. I talked to Robbie, like I said, obviously Robbie's here. He said he's on that, so we should have it by tomorrow. So many of the people here are Christians. They're here because they know that the Bible is incompatible with heliocentric Big Bang cosmology. And so I think that's what we're going to learn a lot about this weekend.
This is, I'm sorry, but it's strange, it's weird, it's completely different. It's very surreal. Like the normal concern you have of like being polite or whatever, like it's not even like an issue, it's almost like, well, you've already found that family. That would fall biblically. It's really strange. Everybody here is like, you go up to them and talk to them and they're just like, they're on the same page. That's a trip.
Because the truth, people are coming to God through this truth, and I just want people to be able to love God and see that He's a loving God, and that this thing's like set up for us, and it's for us, and yeah, so I think that's really awesome, I think the truth is a more loving thing than the lie,
VIP badge. Somehow the names got mixed up. It got put in the wrong box or something. Got my coin here. We got my goodie bag here. All right, so we're gonna go mingle a little bit more. So all the main speakers went to go have a little meeting. So we're just all kind of hanging out. We're having a great time. This is awesome. Let's go talk to some other folks.
I think I've watched some Rob Skiva videos, and that led me to Jaronism videos. And then next thing I know, I fall asleep and I wake up and I'm watching Celebrate Truth videos.
Right.
So whenever I watch the Celebrate Truth video, it's like they're hiding God. Well, of course that's it, you know, and of course, you know, this flat earth. So I went immediately into the red pill rage that they've been lying to me, and Jaronism took it to the next level and said, they're not lying to you about the earth being flat, they're lying to you about everything. They're lying about everything. And that snapped it for me. I was mad that I fell for their lies. And so right now, I'm super much into Bible cosmology. So I'm mad that people of the faith has been reading a flat earth book my entire life, and no one has told me that the Bible is a flat earth book. Still mad. And I'm mad about everything, by the way. Everything. And but I'm not mad about here. I love this place. This is some place that I fit in to a T.
Talked to Grant Phillips. He's just left go to the airport to get Iru Landucci, or I think we know him as Food Peditotos. So that's exciting. We'll see him pretty quick here. Alright, so that's about the end of the mixer tonight. I'm gonna go home, get something to eat, go back to my Airbnb, get something to eat. And then tomorrow morning early is a conference, so I'm gonna get here as early as I can. It's about 6:45 a.m. I'm headed to the conference center. Alright, I'm here. It took about 30 minutes. Traffic's a lot busier this morning than it was last night when I went back to the Airbnb. It's about 7:20. I'm gonna go try and find some coffee. Alright, I'm headed in. I wonder who's up and ready to go. This is the 3rd annual Flat Earth International Conference. The first one, I think in 2016, was in Raleigh, North Carolina. Last year it was in Denver, Colorado. This year, it's in Dallas. There's been Flat Earth conferences popping up all over the world this past year, but this one is by far the granddaddy of them all. Definitely jealous of everyone that's staying at the hotel that has a breakfast coupon. But they sell some coffee over here at the gift shop. That's what I'm going to get. Got my coffee. I'm headed to the conference center.
The truth is always important. It's everything we are. It's everything we are. And this is everything we are. This is about everything we are and will be.
Okay, so the doors are open. It's time to go find my seat.
In summer 2015, I watched Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clue, the original playlist. Was really interested, and then I started looking into actually Eric Dubé. I don't listen to him anymore, of course. You know,
Yeah.
I guess we different paths, you know, as far as what we believe and that kind of stuff. But he did have some good early content back then.
Awesome.
You know, and then eventually that led to me like Rob Skiba and like the scriptures, and that's what really solidified it for me. Is just seeing that the Word does talk about it a lot, and that's what it described. It just made sense, like a world flood. How does that happen on a ball spinning at 1,000 miles an hour where everything floods? You know, just all these little things start adding up, but I have to say, Flat Earth is probably one of the biggest topics that like really made me think about throwing off the world and getting serious about my walk, getting serious about the Word. So I'm really thankful, and I'm really glad to be here to meet other people that kind of think the same way.
Stage is set. Got about 56 seconds, and it's showtime. Also, I'm pretty sure I got the best seat in the house.
From the Lone Star State, this is FEIC 2019.
So it's time to shift the focus. I always say it's not about convincing people, it's about educating them. It's about telling people what we do believe. Telling people that we're not affiliated with the Flat Earth Society. Telling people that we don't believe we can fall over an edge.
There's a sense of joy. And when somebody wakes you up and says, look, the world's been a lie to you. You've been lied to. But yet here's this happiness that comes over you. And I think a lot of people are afraid to look into this because I think they are afraid that their life's going to end. And I feel like mine's just beginning. To know this stuff and to look at it, that my mind doesn't worry about who's going to win the Super Bowl, who's hot or who's not on the red carpet anymore. I don't care. What I do know is that my life has changed significantly since Rob Skiba ruined it. I care about what he thinks. And I care about souls. Because truly that's what this is. And the truth will set you free.
But I think it's happening naturally anyway. I mean, NASA's feeling the heat. We know that. I mean, they're talking about, oh yeah, we're going to the moon again, and they're trying to do it by like 2024. It's never ever going to happen.
All right, so Robbie's opening remarks and Recomer's opening remarks were incredible, epic as always. And Mark Sargent just spoke. Had a couple technical difficulties, but overall it was awesome. He went over the history of the Flat Earth movement in the last 3-4 years, and it was awesome. So I'm not sure who's up next. We'll find out here in a minute. Running on about 4 hours sleep. Some coffee is my best friend right now. Nathan Thompson is on right now. I'm gonna go grab my seat.
Psalm 2 says, "Why do the nations rage and plot a vain thing? The kings of the earth have taken up arms against the Lord and his anointed, saying, let us break their chains and cast them asunder." So the elite have a plan against God. Secret societies and occultism and all that stuff, you know, it's not easy sometimes being a truther, that's for sure. But there is hope, because it says in Psalm 2 right after that God sees their plans and he laughs. Right? Yeah. So we need to have that perspective.
favorite guys right now.
That's not
So it really
a friendly
resonates
move
with
to me.
me.
And I
So I'm really
understand
excited to hear it.
I get that.
God exists. He's out there somewhere in the expanse, in some unsearchable, cold, undistinguishable, separate dimension. And I got to be honest with you, I always believed that God was there, but even as a Christian, even as a believer, and even as a minister, as a preacher, I still had that indoctrination, like, okay, he's out there in heaven somewhere, and you know what I'm talking about. It was really a mind job, to be honest with you. We're here to talk about creation, but as important as creation is if we miss getting to know the creator of all of these things that we've seen, all of these experiments that we've done and facts that we've searched out, and all these truths that we've discovered in scripture, online, various YouTubers, if we miss the creator, we miss everything. Have you searched out your creator with all your heart? John 14:6, Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. No one comes to the Father of creation except through him. It is so important that we understand the Creator. And this is in reference to Jesus Christ, the Son of God. For by him were all things created, in heaven, in earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones, dominions, principalities, or powers. All things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. When you're talking about the true creation, you can't disconnect that from the true creator. And Colossians 1 tells us that there was nothing made that was apart from his working.
Nate's presentation was awesome. It's time to go get some lunch.
I think they're something that's come hand in hand with Bible literalism. You have people that are coming at it from that Torah perspective, saying, hey, the whole Bible's true, I want to believe it, and whenever they look at the creation account, they do see aspects of the flat earth in that, and then they just take it to that further step of challenging not just evolution, the Big Bang, and carbon dating methods, but saying, okay, well, if it describes in a literal sense creation as being under a firmament, set on pillars, firm, not moving, then they're just taking that a step further. And that's why I think a lot of people in that Torah observing full Bible movement crowd have come to flat earth conferences and they're interested in that topic. From the other side of the spectrum, I see that a lot of people that are flat earthers, they realize, wait a second, the God that I've kind of believed in my whole life, or the God I've never believed in my whole life, is real. There is a creator. If the earth is flat, then that means we're put here and it's not this heliocentric, meaningless speck existence. That means he wants things from us. He wants to have a relationship with us. He wants us to walk after his word. And whenever they look at the Bible as this document that records what he would ask from mankind, it's just a fantastic thing that then leads other people that are just coming into, from a scientific perspective, into a more Bible literal sense in terms of what they walk out in their faith and how they obey God's commandments.
This is absolutely insane. There's so many more people here than I expected, and there's way more media presence here than I ever expected. Robbie wasn't kidding when he said there's going to be a lot of media here. This is awesome. Probably couldn't see what was on that plane banner, but it said the Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock app. I think it said app. It said the Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock. So far, the conference has been awesome. I really love that the main concept of it is understanding the Creator through the creation, because that's the most important thing. And I think most of us here can agree on that. It's all about knowing our Creator. who is God, Christ, Yeshua. But it's so many people are having such a hard time getting to that point just because they don't think that there's that plan again. Just because they feel that there's no need for a creator because that's kind of the way the world is going.
Everybody, I think, should have their own roving billboard. Either take a van or a car and deck it out so when you drive around you get people to think about the earth, possibility the earth may be flat. And so I took an old Dodge van and put taglines on it and fixed it up really cool so maybe get people thinking. I was actually researching the moon landings because I'm a self-taught engineer and I'm looking at that thing they supposedly landed on the moon. I'm asking a lot of questions and I don't see how that possibly did it because, you know, anybody with any common sense to know that if they really did land on the moon 50 years ago, we would have hotels on there by now. And so while I was researching all that, I ran across the flat earth. I'd heard about it 9 months earlier. I laughed, thought it was silly like everybody. But just out of pure curiosity, because I'm a curious person, I looked into it, and it took me about 2 weeks. And I must have said thousands of times, it just can't be. But with all the evidence that I gathered up and just using basic common sense and logic, I had to come to the conclusion that the earth is flat. And so from that point on, I wanted to contribute to trying to have some way to show people the concept to understand how it works. And I went to see who was making a model of the flat earth, and I couldn't find anyone. I couldn't find any, so I thought, well, I should make a model. So I tinkered around and had some parts, and I figured out how to get the sun and moon and light to go around on a map, and I put a cake dome over it. I thought it was pretty cool, and I took a picture of it, and I thought, well, I can make another one. And I thought somebody that's really helped me to put my head around the flat earth was Mark Sargent with his Flat Earth Clues. And I really like Mark, and so I sent him the model, and he did a video. And when he posted the video, everybody said, "Where'd you get that?" And he said, "Well, this guy down in Texas is making them. I don't know if he's making any more." And he gave me my phone number, and some Canadians got a hold of me, and one guy was holding up a cashier's check. "Look, I got some money. I want one of your models." So then one thing led to another, and here we are 4 years later, and I sign and date and number all of them, and they've evolved from a little simple model with a cake dome on there to now up to, well, the latest one is the monster model, I call it. It's up on stage here. It's 8 feet in diameter. And then we developed a buddy of mine that's active, David Gordon. He's a good artist, and he and I teamed up to do the PG, we call it the Pontius Gordon AE map, and we copyrighted this, and I used that on my models. That's the one on stage there. And we hand painted that. Now I'm selling them all over the world and having a lot of fun with it.
Sure, I got some kind of media presence behind me.
We go in time, the more we start seeing stuff like this, megalithic structures and all kinds of stuff that people just can't, even today with all our modern science and technology, we can't figure out how they did it. So what's the solution? Aliens must have done it. I mean, think about it. We're so smart, we think we came from monkeys, and we don't even know what gender we are anymore. Right? If you want to get scientific, got an X or Y chromosome? Boy, got 2X girl. The fact that I actually have to explain this in the 21st century is proof of entropy. We're not getting better. We're getting worse. Way worse. I'm reminded of an analogy Kent Hovind used to give, talking about a creationist and an evolutionist looking out over the Grand Canyon. One of them looks at the Grand Canyon and says, "Wow, look at what the Colorado River did over millions of years." And the creationist says, "Wow, look what the flood of Noah did in a couple days." You know, your preconceived bias, right, determines how you look at the thing.
The Pacific Ocean is connected to every other body of water. So if there's no curvature over that part of the ocean, probably not going to show up anywhere else. So, I mean, does that mean that the Earth is flat?
So if Felix in his edge of space jump was not high enough to see the curvature, can we see it from an airplane at 35,000 feet? Thank you. You guys are awesome. Also, a massive shout out to the folks in Europe, the Globe Live Tour, Roxanne, Dave Murphy, that group. I'm telling you, they went to 50 countries, they're all over the place. Awesome stuff going on out there.
About the relationships that you build in this sort of movement, because there's so many people that will laugh and scoff at it, and I think it's important that we get around like-minded people to, first of all, reinforce our understanding. And iron sharpens iron, so we're going to be learning a lot from each other. We're going to be communicating in the fellowship. That's all important as we learn and grow, both personally, spiritually, and in our understanding of the world, number one. So I'm a big supporter of the conferences, and I tell people you definitely got to get to a conference. Not so much just the speakers, because there's going to be a lot of great information that's shared up on stage, but you can catch that on YouTube after the fact. Eventually it's all going to be up there, and you're going to be able to watch that in your own time. Come here for the people. Come here for the relationships. Come here to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, have a cup of coffee or a beer or what have you with the people that are here and get to know them, because that's really where the value of these conferences really are, in my opinion.
Okay, so I just wanted to mention real quick, I wasn't able to record what Rob Skiba said, but I just want to kind of reflect on it real quick, is that I really think it's the nail in the coffin when it comes to Christianity to Bible-believing Christians. The Bible states from 4 different authors that the stars are going to fall down to earth. It's mentioned in Isaiah, it's mentioned by John, it's mentioned by Peter, and it's also mentioned by Christ, comes right out of Christ's mouth. And so I really think that that's just a nail in the coffin that shows us that the Bible and Big Bang cosmology, just the cosmology that we're presented with, are completely incompatible, and it just doesn't work. And if you listen to some of the things Neil deGrasse Tyson says, if I recall paraphrasing, he says just to write those things down or just to say those things, you don't know what you're talking about. Basically calling Jesus an idiot. And I think Christians need to wrap their minds around that. It's time to give up this mainstream cosmology, clearly.
Topped 50,000 subscribers. Thank you. Which is just really, unbelievable. We would have imagined this in 1,000 years. And like Bob said, it just started out as, hey Bob, you want to take some calls and talk online tonight? And boys, it grown from there. And we've had some people come and go. And big shout out to John the Morgile. He was awesome on the show. Everybody loves Sean. Yeah.
This is all kind of overwhelming for me, but I am a family guy. I'm married, I have 5 children, just had a new baby, and I am so happy to be. It's an absolute honor to be with the Globebusters. I've watched their channel for, how many years now? We're near 5 years, and it's been amazing. I just hope that all together that we can all just, not just us, but everyone here can help bust that globe, because it needs to be.
Thank you everyone for for having me on. I always feel like a guest in this kind of conference, maybe because I am on the other side of the world, but for me it's a pleasure, and it's also, like I always say, like a dream come true. For me it's like a band, I used to be fan of Globebuster, and now participate in the show is like something unreal for me. So thank you so much, Bob, Jared, Morgile, and everyone for this opportunity.
Okay, so we just had dinner. Now we're headed back for the Flat Earth Game Show. Just had dinner with some really cool guys.
over when it's done?
We just got done with the Roll and Ready game show filming scene.
I'll show you stuff tomorrow morning. I'll show you stuff that we shot already. Mark, Sergeant.
Big Bear himself, Mr. Owen Benjamin!
Thank you very much. How are you? What's going on? What's up? What's up? Have a seat. Please relax. Yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to be here. It's been so fun being in a group of people where every person that comes up to me, do you want to talk about interesting things? Yeah. You know? It was an interesting experience coming here. TSA, as we've all seen, has gotten pretty intense. And I got selected. They said male-on-male assist. That's what they call it. They go, male-on-male assist. I'm like, it's about to go down, bro. And then you see some creepy dude putting on gloves, just looking at him.
I got that same guy.
What's that, bro?
I got that same guy.
You got the same guy. There's only one guy. Look up. All it is mind-blowing emptiness to the point where you don't matter. You're a speck of nothing. And the speeds are so big you can't fathom. When you realize that that isn't true, and that there may be a plan for us, and that we're standing on solid ground that isn't spinning out of control, and we don't have to wait and wonder if an asteroid's going to wipe us out like the fake dinosaurs. You get a sense of peace and authority over your life that you would not have. It's actually one of the most mind-blowingly effective pieces of wizardry I've ever seen. Yeah. I'll tell you this. What the Earth is not as important as what it is not. And rhetorically, if you're talking to people, it's a lot less about flat Earth and more about the lie that is the spinning globe. Yeah. Because giving people the wonder of what it could be is exciting, and don't take that from them. Yeah. Thank you. And so that's my advice, because a lot of people come up to me and say, like, I inadvertently woke a lot of people up to the globe lie because of how I did it. Wasn't like, you're so stupid if you don't see it. I was showing my vulnerability. I was showing, like, I don't want to be a flat earther. I don't want to do this. I want to win. I want to stay in the side of the normal people. And then eventually I had to face reality, and that's it. How dare you? We went to the moon, millennial. What have you done besides picked up our scraps? When I was your age, I bought a house for 17 grand. Now all you do is have all this debt and shame. It was so funny seeing all his Jew powers of marketing and app making, but none of it was out of greed. You know, he's a Junicorn. So one more time for Dave Weiss. Stars, look how they shine for you. And women and homosexuals are like, me, everything you do. Like, and it was all yellow. On the ceiling, on a Porsche, her and she wanna lay her. Once I saw her, all the way, yeah. And I called and I said, and I won't watch it, and I called out, yeah, yeah, oh, her. How about a hee-haw, round the way over, make me cry. You're in a Walgreens, your girl is looking sweet, 'cause I know it was just a dream. If you stay mad, that means you're crazy. Welcome to Grabber Football, the only game where everybody loses every time. Here we have the Seattle Warhawks against the San Francisco Sodomites, Tom. Here comes the Tampa Bay Bolsheviks while they're doing a Bitcoin toss at the 50-yard line. Only one autistic kid can see the coin, Tom. Oh, here comes Joe Biden to smell the kid's hair. Oh, Hillary Clinton just killed everybody in the stadium. Welcome to Grab War Football. The only game where everybody loses every time. ¿Dónde está mi bicicleta? Bicicleta!
Man, Owen's set was so epic. I just got done hanging out right outside the conference room for a little bit with people like Ace McLeod, Grant Phillips, Wes Blaze. Now I'm gonna go to the bar, maybe have a beer, hang out for a little bit. About 1 a.m. I've been hanging out at the bar here at the Embassy Suites for a little while. Played on some kind of pan drum. It was awesome. It's so awesome to meet so many people that are so like-minded. Just talking about biblical cosmology and all sorts of other things. Tomorrow is the second day of the Flat Earth International Conference 2019. It is going to be epic. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. It's Friday morning, about 7:30 a.m. I'm running a few minutes late, but I had a great time with some great guys last night. Okay, so I'm about 15 minutes late. Hopefully I didn't miss too much. I'm going in now. I just walked by Dr. Danny Faulkner. I didn't realize it was him at first. I thought he looked familiar, and I looked at his tag. I would have said something to him, but he was on the phone. Okay, so they haven't started yet, so I'm lucky. I just realized I left my badge in the car, so I'm gonna go get it and probably go get a cup of coffee real quick. You know, for a guy that thinks Flat Earth is stupid, he sure likes to support us. Mark, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm gonna go get some coffee and some chapstick, maybe something to eat real quick. Okay, so the conference has not started yet today. That's exciting. Got myself a coffee and a blueberry muffin.
In science we trust, freedom from religion. Now, I'm against religion myself, personally. I'm not about religion, I'm about a relationship. But what they're saying is freedom from God. And what they did was they created their own religion and they made themselves into gods, the religious prophets of scientism. First, get people to doubt Yahuwah's word by destroying the very foundation of our Bible, Genesis, especially the creation account. Number two, set up a new paradigm where God is out and science is in. Evolution removes Yahuwah from the equation. Number three, when evolution finally runs its course and becomes utterly bankrupt, introduce the idea of intelligent design, but deny the true designer his due credit and place it rather on ancient aliens. Number four, promote the ancient alien theme as much as possible in all forms of media by perpetuating the concept of Earth as a tiny blue marble orbiting an average sun in an average galaxy among trillions of other galaxies in an ever-expanding universe. With so much potential for life to exist in such a vast expanse, the idea of alien scientists being our creators seems a lot more plausible over time and heavy indoctrination. And number 5. The stage is set for our alien creators to return and bestow upon us their miracle signs and wonders in order to convince us all the more that all religions are false. Then we put our trust with them. Finally, when Christ does return, we are all convinced that he is the enemy and our united world gathers together to make war with him. Listening to what they're talking about, and I'm saying, my God, if only 2% of what they're saying is true, the world, and especially Christian church, is woefully ill-prepared for what's coming. And that's one of the reasons why I think this whole subject came up when it did. Because we're going to need to know the truth and be able to take a stand on it. Because what's coming is going to be very convincing in my opinion. And I think that's exactly what the motivation is. Could be wrong. Look into it for yourself. Thank you very much.
That's who they've been hiding from us, is our Father. They've been hiding our intimate design that he made for us. Not that you're just some speck in the middle of nowhere. But he actually built this place because you, and you, and you, and you, all have a special place for him. So I just want to say that, and I want to reiterate that it is about the Creator, it's about what he's done. That's what my purpose is in life, and I would hope that you guys understand that that's, honestly, I truly believe that's what he wants from you, and you, and you, and you, and you as well.
Once you know, you look back, you're like, how did I ever believe that nonsense?
People from the media, celebrities, pilots, scientists, teachers, musicians, and more will go public.
There's many out there, many celebrities that have contacted us. There's a lot of people out there that are afraid to come forward because they don't want to lose their livelihood. There's a lot of pilots now that are on board.
Force the mainstream media to bring flat Earth to the table and have intelligent, open discussion.
Right, and we had a little press conference yesterday, and Rob read them the 10 don'ts, and shamed them pretty much.
The press conference was great because it allowed us to put 8 minutes forward of what we actually believe, so that the press doesn't go around, even though they're going to anyways, putting the square pancake floating in the solar system. And like I talked about yesterday, the perception, if that's someone's perception of flat Earth, they're not going to give it a second look, because that's ridiculous. We don't believe that. So I think the press conference is a good first step of saying, like, here's what we believe. Okay, now you can ask your questions. Discovering that evolution was a lie was integral with my walk with Christ, and the work that Answers in Genesis does on that front was paramount in my trip back to the Bible. And so thank you to you guys for the work you've done on that. But you did show him last year that there's no way that we could be living on a ball if we have flat Earth hot sauce. Right?
The sun was going down, 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 and then it stopped. And then it went away. And here's the point where it just disappears. And it's still there, but the throw of its light cannot make it back to us. Support what you like, or what you like goes away.
So what I spoke about was the fact that flat earthers and globe believers, that they all have the same evidence, and it's someone's perception of that evidence which is what's going to decide how they interpret it. And I compared it to like a card game where everyone's playing with the same hand, and And the people who are in charge have made flat Earth, have given it such a stigma that they've actually made those cards not even matter. The fact that we have all the evidence, nature is our evidence, and they created this perception that you have to be stupid to believe in flat Earth, or you have to be stupid to be a creationist. And when in fact, if someone actually evaluates the evidence, which they're betting on you not doing, by the way, if someone actually evaluates that evidence, they're going to find out that they could not believe that they believed something for so long that was so ridiculous. Well, I think even amongst a community that agrees on something like flat Earth, there can be a lot of infighting when you're on the internet. And I think what most people find when they come here, the people that actually come to these are the people that are looking for fellowship. Like, they're looking to be around other people that think the same way as they do. And it's a fraternity, it's a brotherhood, and everybody's getting along here. And it's important, I think, to see when you're kind of in your own little hole putting out content or thinking that you're the only one around that believes the same way you do. It's awesome to kind of come here, recharge, see that there are other people on the earth that think the way you do and see things the way you do. And I think it's very healthy to do that. Well, I think flat Earth matters because I come at it from a biblical perspective, and Romans 1 says that we can get to know the invisible attributes of God through the study and appreciation of His creation. And if that's the case, of course, there's going to be an evil agenda to cover that up and to dilute that. And the way you dilute something is you pour it into something bigger, like infinite space, and you teach people they're just insignificant probabilities of an ever-expanding, potentially infinite universe. So the thing is, if someone can get to know God through the creation, then yes, of course, there's going to be someone in the way of that. And this conference, for everybody, Flat Earth, is about getting that out of the way of you getting to know that you're actually created by a loving creator. And that's why Flat Earth matters. Flat Earth may not be a salvation issue for a Christian, but it may be a salvation issue for someone whose stumbling block is one of mainstream science, like myself.
And I simply taped the green poster board behind the window, right? And you use chroma key, and you can produce whatever you want. So, and there's no scenes, it looks perfect. And remember, I'm doing this with 99 cents. Imagine if I had $56 million a year, not even a day. How about the mushrooms that were found on Mars? Clearly, they had pictures in the exact same spot where these things weren't there, and then you saw pictures over the course of a couple weeks where these grew. And the story comes out and it just gets shoved away. People forget all about it. Why? Well, because mushrooms grow where? On Earth. Mushrooms grow on Earth. They don't grow on Mars, but by getting this information out there too much, people would start to recognize, maybe Mars is possibly on Earth. Anybody who believes we've got this remote control car driving around Mars, get out. But I've gotten so many emails, countless emails from people telling me that their lives have changed because of some of this stuff. And there's no better feeling in the world than hearing that, so thank you guys for that. I do want you to know that there is 2 or 3 celebrities that I can't tell you. I wish I could. I really wish I could. But I've had 2 or 3 celebrities that have contacted me and told me that they are, on board, that they want me to keep going with what I'm doing, that they wish they could come out and say so, and that they can't. And I've had to promise them that I wouldn't say anything. Hopefully, in months or a year, we'll hear more. But I just wanted to let people know out there that there is people out there, celebrities, people that you would be shocked to find out are on board with this, and they can't come out yet. I understand that. We have a conversation. We talk about, why they can't. But I just want to let you guys know, because that's something you don't know. You might think, I wonder why nobody's coming out. I wonder why it's not getting bigger. And it is. It's just going to take time. Like I said, truth takes time.
Jared's talk was unbelievable. Definitely a lot of visuals, but well worth it. I definitely recommend anyone that wants to know more about this to look into it. I'm going to go get something to eat, get back in time for Jared Cressman.
So oftentimes what happens, they put enemies in our way all the time that are actually the least important of what we have to worry about, and the real enemy slips up behind us at his leisure, effortlessly slips the knife right between our ribs. You know, when you're in war, which is really what we're doing in a Christian walk, the Christian walk is warfare, 360-degree vigilance is absolutely vital. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, and against the spiritual forces of evil in heavenly places, Ephesians 6. And that word for cosmic powers is cosmokrator in the Greek. But cosmokrator, as is depicted in the Greek, is not just talking about something supernatural. It's talking about something so supernatural and so powerful that it's capable of ruling through world systems. And this is what I believe as a Christian refers to demonic powers and principalities that rule through world systems. So when I see world systems in my face all the time that somehow have maintained a form of cohesion for 5,000 years, I can't stick 2 Southern Baptists in the room without 3 opinions that can stay on track for an hour. But somehow, warring factions of occult tribes for thousands and thousands of years have been able to stay on track with a singular act of rebellion, a single philosophy of rebellion against God Almighty. I don't think so. They're definitely a part of it. But they're not the ones who sent it. And that's what I like to do. I like to point people back to the scriptural reality of who's responsible for this. How's it possible that so many secret societies and their managed agendas could exist simultaneously? And more than that, how could all of them be so consistent over thousands of years?
When we understand the nature of the true creation, it is kind of a key of sorts to unlock a lot of other truths, and really it exposes a huge deception that's in the world. I mean, the big question people always ask is why? You know, why would they go through all the trouble of doing all that to deceive? Well, I believe it's because they are legitimately trying to hide the true nature of creation, because true creation points to the Creator. It gets people thinking about, okay, if this creation is true, then I got to deal with the Creator. You know, is the Creator real? And if so, what's my relationship with the Creator? So I really think that although you have humans involved, obviously, people with free will, people with their own motivations. As you know, I mean, money is a huge motivation. There's that millions of dollars of funding, you know, such as NASA, you know, $56 million per day. So there's a lot of whys, but I think at the top I believe there's a spiritual element to it as well. And I believe you have Satan, who is called the God or the ruler of this world, of this realm. And he certainly is, he's the father of lies, so deception is his game. And he hates believers, he hates God, he hates the Creator. So he's going to want to try to deceive as many people into thinking that we're really just this insignificant, you know, speck of dust. You know, there's many other, you know, Earths out there in these distant galaxies. You know, we're just kind of insignificant. And really that paints the opposite picture of what we find in Bible, you know, and what God has said about mankind is that he's a special creation made in his image. And the thing that really blows me away is the simplicity that we find in Genesis 1, where it's talking about, you know, I always say there's 3 things that you find about the true creation in Genesis 1. According to the Bible, you have the Creator saying, this is what I created, this is the day that I created it on, and this is the purpose or the purposes that these things were created for. And so when you look at that, you see that the typical so-called truth today about creation, it's a deception, because it's either the complete opposite or it's not even close. It doesn't even have any closeness to what the Scripture says about creation. So I think it comes down to you know, why is this topic important, is because it really unlocks the deception that is in the world, and it also can help us to open our eyes to other deceptions that affect us every day that we don't even realize are there.
I start by what I consider to be the most important of all of them, which is truth matters. Like, it just matters.
Yeah.
Truth matters. It matters what's true and what's not true. I'm not okay believing lies. If there's something that I'm being lied to about, I'd rather know the truth as opposed to
to being fooled, regardless of what that does to how self-deprecating or maddening it is if you find out you've lived a lie. I'd rather know the truth. But on the other side, as a Christian, I have a very stable foundation in my Christian walk where not only does God say the truth matters, but in Romans 1 it tells us that everything that can be made plainly known about God has been made plainly known in creation, mainly His eternal power and His divine attributes. There's an old saying that theology is the queen of the sciences and all other scientific disciplines her handmaidens. And I think that there could be no more important a pursuit than to know who God is, and mainly to know Him personally, right? Which is in Scripture, like in Romans, when it tells us that men are without excuse because these things have been made plain. Well, that is evidence in natural theology that matters. You know, all you're going to get from flat Earth stuff, as far as natural theology, is that God exists, right? That there is a creator of this place. But you don't know who that is, right? And that's the purpose of Scripture and special revelation in Christ, is that He's told us who He is as well as shown us that He is, you know? So that can be used as a means to an end of knowing Him. Like God can use natural revelation as a means to draw somebody to a personal relationship with Him. But in and of itself, you know, you're never going to, oh, I'm flat Earth now, I totally understand everything there is to know about God. And I feel like that's where the breaking point is. I think flat Earth's important because I think natural theology is important. I think the Bible makes that very clear. And I think it can be a stepping stone that God uses into a deeper spiritual walk with Him in accordance with what He's established and being able to know Him personally. I tend to be one of those people that believes that you become an accessory to the evils that you fail to oppose. And when there's something that is in your face, a threat to other people, jeopardizing the health or well-being of other people, and we turn a blind eye to it, I believe that we kind of become accessories to what happens as a result. I tend to be there in the occult arena and satanic ritual abuse and spiritual warfare just because there seem to be so many people that lack like a conservative and biblical understanding of how that works. I really try to keep a very biblically centered approach to it that's simplistic, in accordance with the way Jesus did it, with the way the apostles did it, pulling from the truths in Scripture and then feeling things out as we go, right? Like in Scripture, Ephesians 6, we war not against powers and we war not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. That word is cosmocrator, right? These cosmic powers. And when you really start to dig into what that means, it seems to indicate demonic powers that rule through world systems. And that's always been sort of the backdrop of my understanding of how this place works from a biblical perspective. No matter what generation or time period we live in, we have a very ancient brotherhood of spiritual beings that are at the heart of the rebellion, manipulating things to their own ends. And so recognizing that, it's very easy to say, well, why couldn't this be a lie? Why couldn't the whole, the earth is a ball thing and space thing be a lie? Especially when you start to look at who's started creating the institutions that started pushing it first, You see the occult. I give a presentation on NASA in the occult, largely being comprised of Masons, magicians, and Nazis. And that's a fact. I mean, that is just a bona fide fact. Some of the core principles behind their belief system was it's okay to deceive people to achieve our own specific and personalized ends. When you carry a worldview like that, you create the institutions that are capable of foisting that on people. Why would I ever step back and say this is ridiculous? So the more I started looking into it over a period of time, and it's slow, you start realizing, oh my gosh, like this flat earth thing could be legit. You start paying a little more attention.
As somebody who has been an advocate for creation, as opposed to evolution, my whole thing is, if you're going to take Genesis literally for 6 literal days and say, those are 6 literal 24-hour days, not eons of time or millennia or, millions of years, then why wouldn't you take the Bible just as literally when it tells you there's a firmament? It's a hard, solid structure. In Hebrew, in Greek, in Latin, and English, all the words used are a hard, solid structure. So why would you take the Bible just as literally when it tells you there's a hard, solid structure above us within which the sun, moon, and stars were placed on day 4? So I think creationists tend to be literalists, but they're selective literalists unless they go all the way. And so I just finally said, you know what, if I'm going to say the Bible is true and Genesis is an authoritative, accurate historical account, then I'm going to take it, the whole thing, the same way. I'm not going to say, okay, that's literal, nope, that's figurative, allegorical poetry, nope, that's literal, you can't do that. It's all either literal or it's not. You know, and so I see the firmament as literal, and I think it's important we should be talking about that.
People just don't know. They don't understand. They have this meme in their head of what it looks like. They have this idea that you would fall off the edge because we were all told that in kindergarten. So activism is getting the truth out there. We need to let people know, hey, here's really what it's about. And so if we don't do that, people are going to still have that meme in their head. So it's really our responsibility, and it's a call to action. So what's interesting is that we're really generating a lot of buzz because we're growing. We're growing in numbers, and you really cannot stop an idea whose time has come. But getting out there and keep telling the truth is what it's about.
Does the sun look in on other planets, and it just says straight up, well, by the time you get to Pluto, it's just another star, right? So, and that isn't even a light day away, guys. That's crazy. So they give us demonstrations like this, and they have to, based on, their claimed distances and everything. But if the sun in eight light hours, or 2/3 of a light day, is too small to see angular-wise, and brightness is orders of magnitude dimmer, right? How in the world are we seeing stars at, well, the closest star is Proxima Centauri, right? And that's like 4.4 light years away, something like that. I mean, there's a huge difference between 8 light hours and 4 light years. Right? And remember, our sun is an average size star. And yet they're telling us that we're seeing stars dozens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, and billions of light years away. And it's just preposterous. They tell us now that Polaris is about 323 light years away, but its brightness is about 4,000 times brighter than our sun. And they do this, they just make this stuff up so that they can make the math work as we come here. Because remember, they have no way to measure this. It's all a mathematical construct to them. There's nobody that has ever been there that has actually measured the size of Polaris, and nobody has ever been there to measure the brightness of Polaris. But they will have you believe that somehow, without knowing either one of those things, that they can tell you everything about it.
I've been in it for 5+ years now, so I've seen the beginning and to where it is now, and kind of where do I see it going? It's going to be worldwide. It's going to be common knowledge, whether that's this year or next, or 6 months from now. I don't know. It always feels like it's right around the brink, and it is always right around the brink, right? Because we don't need 50% of the population to be in the know. We only need like 15%, and those 15% are the tipping point. They're the ones that everyone knows. Nowadays, like 10 people that are flat earthers. Eventually, you're going to have to look into as much as you tried not to, right?
People that run this world lie to us continuously about virtually everything, and they do that to control us, and that is ultimately the agenda, is to control us. It's not about money, it's not about anything like that. It's about controlling your mind and what you think and what you do. So that's why it matters. But to actually actually meet people face to face, you get a sense of, you know, what they're really about, and you know, their sincerity, how much they're actually involved. You can tell by looking at somebody and talking to them where they're at, and that's really helpful for a lot of people. You know, the virtual world doesn't always work for everybody. So it's good to have person to person.
You are relentless. You will not quit. Why won't we go away? Because we have faith in what we have come to know by testing, evaluating, seeing, coming to understand, battling in frustration, weeping in anguish, furious at the way we've been treated, shaking our fists at the skies as they're spraying things on our heads and we can do nothing. But we can have our belief. They cannot steal that from you unless you allow them. Is that you would bring out of this convictions for what you know to be the truth, and that you would move and act on it, and that you would guard your homes, and that you would abstain from these systems, and that you would not be angry with the men that have been manipulated to believe these things, but instead that you would love them enough to stand there and be the one who would be the difference. But I will always be welcome in the true churches where people of beliefs gather together and are willing to stand and be courageous for what they believe. I am humbled to be called your friend. Be willing to stand for what you know to be the truth, and let them look at their dad, let them look at their mom, let them look at their brother, let them look at their boss, their CEO, and see that person has something I've never seen before. They won't mock you after a while, because you rob them of their words of accusations by your consistent living in a set-apart way. You'll steal those words out of their mouth. And they cannot curse you, they cannot condemn you, because of the way that they see the fruit of your children, the fruit of your house is beautiful. It's lovely. There's peace when I'm around this guy. She has so much joy. So have we all suffered for the sake of the truth. Go read a book called Tortured for Christ. You want to read about people that loved their enemies, that cared about them, that gave themselves for them? Go read about people that literally gave everything they had for the people that were perpetrating the madness against them. You know what that does? It so unsettles you when you're in that world. I had these believers that came into my life when I was raging and everything else that had so much love for me that I could not take it. It scared me. I didn't know how to handle that love. It still scares me. Because love is far greater of a weapon, far greater of a tool, far greater of a foundation that you can lay your house in than any fear, than any other thing that you have ever seen and experienced in your life. Lay love over these people. Let them know that you love them. Let you know that you have known the truth and you have found it and you care about it and you're passionate. And they may mock you for a while. They may hate you for the rest of your life. But it does not matter if you do sincerely love them. They are willing to overlook those things. So don't give up on those people that mocked you. Don't give up on those people that used their power and their tools and their authority to take you out. Don't be angry at them. Don't be angry at them. Have mercy for those who doubt. Be patient for them. You were ignorant as they were. You didn't know. But then you did. And it's what you do with that that makes the difference.
Nathan Reynolds just got done. He was the final speaker. And it was probably one of the most powerful talks I've ever heard in my life. It was amazing. I encourage anyone who has not watched it to go back and rewatch it when it comes out. I'm headed into the VIP dinner. Enjoying some great company at the VIP dinner tonight. I'm just going to kind of walk around for a second, see who all is hanging out. Hey, Rue, what's up, man? You doing all right?
Hello, man. You know, Hollywood lives. The day that Earth stood still, you know, we came to the Earth.
What's going on? Y'all having a good time?
Yeah, having a great time.
Awesome. Good.
They used to say that the Earth was supposed to be
good time?
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, good. The conference is coming to a close. Either of y'all got any like final remarks?
What was your favorite presentation? I like Nathan Reynolds probably the most.
Did you? His was he's a great presenter.
He was awesome. I like that moon stuff. Sorry, Dave Marsh.
Did you see? I didn't get to see it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
It was really good.
Was it?
Yeah, it was really good.
I just enjoyed meeting everybody.
Yeah, I really.
This is the first time I've met Eddie in about 10 years.
That's what he told me.
We used to go to church together, and this was our first meetup, and it was just really exciting seeing him there and knowing that someone who I used to attend with and serve with is now Flat Earthist. We're on the same page, and this was
it's really one of the best experiences of my life.
It is.
Really.
It is. Yeah. It's not about the presentations, besides the fact that they're awesome, but it's really about just
meeting people,
meeting everyone.
Having a good time.
Yeah. Daryl, how you doing, man? Doing good. Hey. Bob, great presentation. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Colin!
Hey!
How's it going?
Good. So the conference is getting close to the end. What do you think?
It was excellent. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sad to see it coming to an end.
Yeah.
But looking forward to the next one. Most of us have been at home trying to evangelize the people we know or share information with them. And we stay pretty pumped up for a while, but it's good to get together with people and share new facts because new stuff is coming up all the time. I learned a ton of stuff this weekend or week, but it's definitely important. We've made connections. Just the energy that happens when everybody gets together is phenomenal. I think it just fuels us.
I can't hear a word you're saying.
This is my third.
Oh, for the FEICs?
Yeah.
Oh, you've been to all three? Oh, wow, that's awesome. So what do you think of them?
I think they're awesome. I think they're fun. It's great. I mean, it's the biggest one. It's where you're surrounded by the most people. It's the biggest gathering.
So when people say that some people are outlaws just have to make money by having these and there's no point in coming, I mean, what would you say to those people?
They must not be familiar with how much conferences cost. Like if you look up the ticket prices for a normie conference, like a conference on, computers or, whatever, anything that's a normal subject that's not flat earth, you're going to pay like $1,500 for a 2-day conference. I mean, easily.
Exactly.
So, people complain about the price, but it's actually still a pretty reasonably priced ticket for where it is and how big it is and what you get.
I agree.
Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, I got to meet a lot of people that I'll be chatting with online and Facebook and whatnot. And I get to meet them in real life, and it's been a blast. Like seeing people that helped with my journey, waking up and this and that, and shaking hands with these people, having conversations, or beer, atmosphere, whatever that I'm doing with them. They're awesome. So it's been very positive. I'm looking forward to next year.
Well, I think that it's important for us to come together at these type of events because mainstream society's been so programmed to go against the idea of flat earth anyway, because everybody's been taught the globe model for all this time, and the idea of flat earth is just laughable to so many people because they have already adopted the idea of the heliocentric model. So when people come into the idea of flat earth, and it's like they'll do their research and they're excited about it, that they figure this out and they want to talk to people about it. But since society's been taught to, respond in a negative way, they don't have anybody to really talk to, or only have a couple of people to talk to. So an event like this, it's kind of like a safe space where people can kind of take their armor off to a degree and just relax, because we all have this general understanding, and we're not going to make each other feel crazy for saying that the earth is flat here, because we all have the same thought process. So this is it's like a good environment for us to connect with other like-minded individuals, and that's basically what it is. It's basically about connection. We're not going to learn a whole lot of new stuff at these events. For the most part, it's like a lot of people just kind of hang out in the hallways, exchanging phone numbers, telling stories about how, hey, I made this observation about this, and I saw this video. I've been into this for this long. It's like we all have our own stories that we just want to talk to each other about, without the weirdness that society has forced on people. So that's kind of why this is important, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, awesome, man. Cuddliest little girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. She wasn't as big as she is. You're so sweet.
Oddly enough, Joe Rogan, I was watching his stuff, and he got me into the moon landing stuff. And I was like, that's messed up, because I do a lot of photography. And I was like, this didn't add up. Wait a minute. And then eventually I was like, we didn't go. We really didn't go. And so I had to, and I'm a sci-fi geek, right? And so I finally had to reconcile that. And then I was like looking at other stuff, and then ISS and all this crazy stuff. And when I got my P900 and I live on the beach, I was like, all right, if I can see across to Ingleside, 5.4 miles, and if I can see the bottom of the holes of the boat, I'd already taken the drive around, hour drive. And I was like, please don't let me see the bottom of the holes of the boat. Oh no, I can see them, and I saw the shoreline and all that stuff.
We've been going at it for the last 2 days solid. I'm on information overload. I've learned so much, met so many cool people. This is literally a life-changing experience, and I am seriously considering, I'm not even considering it. I'm going to make it happen. We're going to have a conference next year, and I'm going to call it the DFW Flat Fest. Yeah. So this is changing my life. The Bible says where two or more are gathered together, the Holy Spirit is there. Okay. Now, if we actually band together or not, that's a different story. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try to form a collective body of Christians who are willing to step out on this truth and take a stand. The only thing that God created on day 2 of creation was the firmament. Okay? What does the firmament do? It separates the waters above from the waters below. Is it just surrounding the earth? The Bible says that the sun, moon, and stars are inside of the firmament. So it's not just surrounding the earth, it's actually everything, our whole entire existence, everything that we know is inside of this firmament.
My father, my wife's mother, all of our siblings, they just despise it. They think that I am absolutely crazy, and they've kind of threatened, with children and, those kind of things, the idea that we're not fit to be parents. And so it's gotten kind of ugly with the family members. Everyone here is like family, and and the reason why they're like family is because you can't really talk about this with your own family. So everyone here, it's just actually wonderful to be with them and to actually be able to express yourself openly and even share your crazy thoughts and ideas, and nobody judges you for them.
It's been fun. If you didn't get a chance to join us, you should be here. Maybe next year. It's been a great time. Yeah, I don't think there's anything more important than getting everybody together and having a good time, and we're about to get some awards, and it's been fun. A lot of great people.
I think getting together like this is amazing, and it's really important. Like, I met Jaron at the event, the first one, so it puts us together so we can really collaborate better. It's great.
This is
awesome. Like having everybody here, everybody's so good. You don't meet a bad person ever.
I heard
I've
about
been having a great time. This is my 4th time. Canadian one first, then I went to Amsterdam recently, then I went to Oktoberfest in South Carolina, and now here. So yeah, and once you start doing these things, you don't stop. So I encourage anybody who's seeing this to get out, go do some activism or meet people and just enjoy yourself. Because not everyone's as chill like everyone says, and you can't really learn anything unless you go out and explore for yourself and meet these people, right? Because we're all hanging out, we're all vibrating, we're all fucking enjoying each other's company. It's all we got is each other. So we're all on the same team.
But every once in a while, you get one that is compiled by an outside observer. Somebody that woke up this year, which was much more high profile, which was created by someone else, which is very rare. The winner goes to
Mr. David Weiss. DITRH. I don't want to be a flat earth person.
Here's another one. Why do flights not go around the poles? Please explain this to me, because I do not like where the logic is taking any of this. It's not fun. It's actually incredibly isolating, and I don't want it at all. The last thing I need in my life is to be given another label that makes me look insane. That sounds awful.
Well, we're just accepting it on behalf of Jubilee because we really appreciate them taking the risk. This was one of the most requested topics that they ever had. And so that's some bravery there. However, it's been good for them as well. When they first started out, they were at 3.5 million subs, and now they're up to 4.1 million only after a month. And right now, it's at 4,506,000 views with 86,000 comments.
Right on.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Great talk. Thank you so much. First of all, from all the Flutter football team, so thank you, club. Thank you so much. This is not a award that represents only a soccer team. It represents, a way of living. So thank you so much for the award. And if you can support the team, we need it. So thank you so much.
Glowbusters, Bob and Jaron and Iru.
Thank you, everybody. Honestly, if it wouldn't have been for Amber Plaster and Jaron, arranging all this, this wouldn't have been possible. So thank you to Amber Plaster and Tony.
2019 was an amazing year for the expansion of Flat Earth, and just wait until 2020. It's going to be over the top.
Out the gate with that Enoch grit, got that Hand Hunter shirt with the Reebok kit.
My hope don't dance, just to go on the rants and go the global way. Now lean flat, lean flat, lean flat, lean flat.
We're bold. We're on the forefront of something. Don't be discouraged. Keep pushing forward. It's going to be exciting. The road is going to be great ahead.
Good job, Robbie. Hey, give it up for Robbie.
Well, that's a wrap. The Flat Earth International Conference 2019 is officially over. It was awesome. event like this proves that this movement is growing exponentially. I tried to get a good soundbite from everyone. Sorry if I missed you, maybe next year, but that doesn't mean I didn't want one. It just means the conference is only 2 days. It was awesome though. This is FEIC 2019. That's it. FEIC 2019 is over with. What's going on, y'all? It is Saturday, December 28th, a couple days after Christmas. It's been about a month and a half since the conference. I've had a lot of time to reflect on that whole experience, which was unbelievable. It went by like that. But I'll tell you what, that experience has shown me that this movement is not going away. This awakening, this knowledge that is happening to the whole of humanity is something that I think we are receiving from the divine. And I think most people in the community would agree with that. More and more are waking up exponentially. More and more people are interested. It's becoming more mainstream. It's becoming not such a taboo topic anymore. Water always finds its own level. We can see too far. Space is fake. NASA lies. The Bible is a flat earth book. These are just some of the reasons that you, if you haven't already, need to research what is going on in the flat earth movement and biblical cosmology. One of the most important things about the conference was that it showed that people are tired of accepting lies. They're tired of accepting something that was taught to them that they have now figured out is not true. A wise man once said that belief is the enemy of knowing. And I think this conference really represents a large portion of human beings that have come to realize that principle in life and are no longer willing to accept things that have been given to us by people we know have lied to us over and over again. People that hate truth, hate the Bible, hate God, and hate the idea of there being a creator. Every man comes to a point in his life where he just looks out of the world, takes a second to breathe. And this can happen at various points in different people's lives. But everyone's got to come to this point at one time or another where they just look at creation, they look at nature and they say, what's all this for? Why are we here? You kind of have to face the reality of what life is, what death is, what this world really is. And I think that's a lot of what this conference is about. It's about telling people, hey, wake up. Look at this place that we're in. You know, do you really want to know where we are? Why are we here? And so the point in going to the conference like I did and filming it like I did is to kind of capture the essence of all the different kind of people that were there. Those people are the ones that are asking those important life questions. And so I am so excited to deliver some of the highlights, some of the awesome people that were at that event because they care. They care about other human beings. They care about this thing that we got dropped in called life. And they care about waking other people up, sharing what they've come to know with other people.